All right, and we're live. Hey, everybody, it's Anchorman here, back with another episode of the Multiverse podcast, episode 31, with my co-host for the evening, James.
Go out and vote, and hello and welcome to the best podcast on a Monday.
All right, so we got a couple of guys. Fame had to tap out for the evening, so he won't be with us, and I think Undead will be showing up shortly whenever he gets a chance. We're all running real tight on this Monday evening. But yeah, it has been a very interesting last week with a ton of different games have been launching, and it's just all been a crazy mess in the world, politics, games, movies, everything. It has been definitely crazy.
It's shoot the man season.
hmm it is getting real rough. Like right now, today is what is it? It's Mass Effect Day, or they call it
N
N7.
N7.
It's just N7.
Yeah.
So it is Mass Effect Day for most, and in terms of topic and discussion, we've had two big events happen this evening, or just really just this whole day, I guess. The first of which has been the new cinematic trailer, and we literally just watched it. And so what did you think about it, James?
Well, I'm not the biggest Mass Effect fan, but I know a bunch of my friends who are, so I hear a lot about their experience sort of vicariously. And based on what I've seen and what the very little information that we know, it's an open world, which is new for Mass Effect and BioWare. And it sort of makes sense because they're going to a completely uncharted galaxy. So both the characters and the players will be experiencing the same emotions at the same time, going around doing whatever. It could be something to reinvigorate BioWare, who have, they sort of dropped off after the second Dragon Age game. Mass Effect 3 really pissed off a lot of their fans. It could be pretty good. It looks fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, didn't Bioware do what is it, Dragon Age Inquisition
Yes.
at the beginning of this year?
I think that was just at the. I
Well, I
think
mean, beginning of the generation. My bad.
yes,
Like
yes.
around 2014-ish. I think that was right.
Inquisition did it was pretty good, but not a lot of people were fans of the MMO style gameplay.
hmm I know I wasn't. Like, I had the game. I played for maybe like 5 hours, and I was like, I'm not liking how this is playing. Like, I'm
Yeah.
I'm just not digging it.
No, it's a solid game, and the game mechanics are there. And I mean, I personally believe BioWare have never made anything better than Knights of the Old Republic.
hmm
But that's a very personal thing, and BioWare games are very personal because they're so player choice orientated. Which is why no one liked the end of Mass Effect 3 because it was a fixed ending.
hmm Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you start emphasizing player choice, it's kind of people get really pissed off whenever there's a singular ending or like a strict binary. And I mean, it's like Fallout had the same scenario, like with Fallout 3, where the spectrum ran, but really there were three playthroughs you could do: good, neutral, and bad. And they had basically just two endings. I mean, and then they moved on to New Vegas, where there were no ending was exactly the same. It was like a 20-minute cinematic about what everything that happened after the curtain fell, and it went a little crazy. And then you kind of go back to like, all right, you get one of three endings for Fallout 4, and everyone's like, oh, what? This is crazy.
Well, what's your favorite player choice game?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Series or just individual game?
I think if you have a favorite series, say it, but let's go for individual game if we can.
It would probably have to be Fallout New Vegas. It could be just simply because the way that game is handled, there's so many ways it can go wrong. And like there's so many ways you can handle it. Like mostly because of the faction system where you could immediately one group will hate each other, which you can work to make them join forces, but then certain things will like certain characters and factions will always hate each other no matter what. And it's really political, and you have to maneuver around a lot of this stuff. But every choice you ever made, every companion you ever met, every if you choosing to go through their companion quest or not, determines their outcome. And at the end of the game, it tells you everything you did, everything you didn't do. If you didn't save a town to its completion, it tells you you failed. And like
Damn.
it's crazy. It's nuts.
I never played New Vegas. I started proper gaming just a bit after the Fallout craze, so I was always late on that game, that and Skyrim.
Hmm.
But player choice for me, Walking Dead season one.
Mm,
Nothing drew me into the world and the characters better than that game, apart from The Last of Us.
mm. Yeah, I mean, Walking Dead season one, they made the choices have lots of weight to it.
They
You
really did.
like it had lots of emotional weight behind it.
Yeah,
So
everything you made, the simple choice of, who to give the food to. God, man. Every time, and it was one of those. I remember when it came out, everyone I knew was playing it, and after every time the new episode would come out, we'd go back to school and then talk about what happened, what decisions we made. It was such a thing, and then it didn't really work for season two, and that's weird.
yeah, man, that's dope. Um, but kind of going back to Mass Effect, we watched the trailer just a little while ago. Um, it looks interesting. Like it's definitely interesting. I'm not I'm not sold on it as a newcomer kind of scenario.
Hmm.
Or like it doesn't scream out to a newcomer necessarily, but I'd assume it's good for fans of the series.
Well, it's set 600 years after Mass Effect 3,
Hmm.
so I would assume that anyone can just pick up this game. There was a thing where if you hadn't played the first game or the second game, so if you jumped in on Mass Effect 2, they would very quickly, the very beginning of if you click new game, you would make the key decisions that you'd have to make in Mass Effect 1. But
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to make you do that for Andromeda.
yeah. It doesn't make a lot of sense, honestly. If it is 600 years in the future, any choices you made in the other games were kind of meaningless because it all ends the same.
Yes, hence why everyone hated BioWare for a couple of years.
Yeah, I remember that the whole protest to change the ending.
Oh, it was brilliant. It was amazing.
Yeah,
Everyone forgot that what they were doing was having fun.
yeah. I don't know. When it comes to an artistic vision, whatever they chose is the game. I don't. In terms of story, I'm not gonna fight to get a story changed. I think that was a little too far.
Yeah.
I can understand like mechanics or something. Like this is broken, this doesn't work, and you change your game. But you're saying I didn't like how your story ended. Change the game. Just like okay, fine.
Yeah. Well, when it comes when it comes to futuristic open world choice based games, I think everyone's going to play Horizon next year anyway.
Mm. I
I'm
didn't
not.
get the impression
I'm
that was
not
a big
because
choice based
I
game.
have behind the scenes information about that game which I cannot disclose at this time.
Man, what's the point now? Jeez. All right.
I'll tell you after the podcast why that game's going to fail. I'm dead serious about this as well.
Wow. All right. But yeah, the other big Mass Effect news that came out of this the N7 day was that Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 are now backwards compatible, and they will be included with EA Access. If you have EA Access, you now have access to those two other games as well as Mass Effect 1, which has been backwards compatible for a while now. So now guys on Xbox have access to the whole collection. So that's dope.
Yeah. We can get even more people angry about a fake thing. Let's do it.
Yeah, I guess we could if we really wanted to.
However, instead of staying inside and playing Mass Effect, you know what you should do?
What?
You should go out and vote. All right, let's talk about something else.
I
No,
don't know what to do.
that's all we're going to talk about it. That we're just going to say you should go out and vote. That's all we're going to say. Now,
Yeah.
Young Justice is back.
Yep, yeah, Young Justice is back, and this is something I want to talk about for a little bit. I was explaining to James earlier because he had not seen Young Justice, and I wanted to kind of give an idea. Let me talk about Young Justice for a minute.
Go.
In the larger continuum of DC and Marvel, it has become a accepted fact that Marvel cinematic movies, are better than DC movies. It's just a fact. We've all come to terms with this. It's just true. As a whole, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is better than the DC movies, and the exact opposite is true about animation. DC is god tier when it comes to animation. The stuff they put out, like they laid the framework for a connected universe back like in the 90s. Like they set that thing up, and it's so good. Like they started off with Batman the animated series, and they had Superman, and they brought those guys together. Then they had Justice League,
Mm,
which was really really good. And then they had
I could do a whole
Justice League
podcast about how
Unlimited.
good Batman the Animated Series is.
It's such a good series, and I mean they knock it out of the park consistently. The quality is good, mature content, like, or not really content as much as it is mature tone. Like anyone can watch this and then find something to enjoy. And like, DC just totally nails it. The movies they have are great, except for kind of the more recent stuff. It's been kind of weird. Like
Killing joke.
yeah, Killing Joke. Um, what was it? What was the other? Not Justice League War. It was one after that with Aquaman.
I,
Was
I
that
I
War?
don't watch animated movies that much.
Well, either way, like it got a little weaker of late, but they still have a lot of great positive karma going for them on that. And it's such a great series. And Young Justice came at a point where DC didn't know what the hell they were doing. Where the Justice League Unlimited show was done, and that was their big connecting universe kind of scenario, and people wanted a new team up show, and Teen Titans had just gotten canceled, and they rebooted it into Teen Titans Go, which is a shell of its former self, and basically became a big comedy show instead of it being a mature cartoon. Justice came at a point when we needed it. And they had two great seasons. The first season takes place, and I was explaining just to give you guys a premise. It's all the sidekicks of all the major superheroes. You got Robin, you got Kid Flash, you got Speedy, you got Aqualad, and you got all these guys, and they're the proteges of these big superheroes, and they are entirely disillusioned with the Justice League. Due to certain circumstances, they just be completely just get blown out of the water. Like we can't deal with this anymore, and so they leave. They say we're not going to handle this anymore. We're done, and they form their own group and kind of eventually become like this covert branch of the Justice League to do the work that the Justice League can't necessarily do because they're a little too high profile or they don't have the people to do it, and they have some crazy stuff. And so season 2 picks up like maybe, I think it was like 5 years after the events of I don't maybe not be 5 years, but it's a while. And so after the end of season 2, which was huge, it was a great season, they leave and the show gets canceled. And that was such a big problem, and it really pissed off a lot of people. And it wasn't the people's fault for not having enough support or anything, but it was Warner Brothers or Cartoon Network basically put that thing out to die. They would show new episodes in the early morning when the audience that watched it were still asleep or going to work. It was just a
What? That's
dumb
crazy.
time. Like they were setting it up to fail for no reason. And so people for a long time were like, we want Young Justice. Bring this show back. And recently it went on Netflix, like in the last year or so. And I remember one day, one of the voice actors, I think it was for Wally West, said everybody go watch it now. If you watch it within, I think it was whenever House of Cards went up, and they said go watch Young Justice. Maybe if there's enough appeal, we can get a show made. Um, and that was the last we really heard of it until recently. Just today, just like 2 hours ago, they announced that Young Justice season 3 has been officially announced, and the internet's going crazy right now. They are so happy for this, and it is a huge deal.
So what do we know about season 3? If any, if
I pulled up an
anything,
article here. What was that? Sorry.
if anything.
All right, I pulled up an article here. This is from comicbook.com, so I'm just pulling the information from here. Um, it says Warner Brothers Animation today announced that Young Justice Season 3 has begun production. According to the release, Young Justice Season 3 promises new twists, turns, and dangerous new threats for the team, but most importantly, the opportunity for fans to finally continue the adventures of some of the favorite superheroes. They did not give a release date or a network partner for Young Justice Season 3, but did promise that more details were on the way. Now, this is kind of interesting because not announcing a network partner kind of gives the impression that it's not going to be Cartoon Network anymore. They've had a long, rich history of being with Cartoon Network. I mean, ever since I was growing up, they always had Cartoon Network and DC were just synonymous. Like it was great, and this would be really interesting. And so this kind of makes me question whether or not it's going to be Netflix or Cartoon Network again, because I don't know who else would pick it up. So what do you think about all this?
I honestly, I don't care. I'm sorry.
Why are you on
I
this
just
show again?
I don't. I'm on this show because my show got cancelled, and we know this.
Oh
I'm
boy,
kidding.
man.
I don't watch superhero animated shows. I didn't grow up with them. It's not something I watch. I watch Batman because I love Batman.
Mhm.
But you know what? If it's on Netflix, I'll have a watch and I'll report back in a couple of weeks with my opinions.
Yeah, well, seriously, go watch it. Let me know. I mean, I was a skeptic of the show, and they pulled me back. They made me like it, and I was happy with it. And the big thing for
I'll
me, I was more of a Captain Marvel is my favorite superhero. Like Billy Batson, Captain Marvel, Shazam, whatever you want to call him. Like definitely my favorite superhero, and they do a good job of interpreting him in this show.
wait. Is this the DC Captain Marvel, not the
Yes,
Brie
the
Larson Captain
Captain
Marvel?
Marvel, the only true Captain Marvel.
Okay, let's not get into that debate. This is like having the is Jaffa Cakes a biscuit or a cake? The conversation. Did I just like really out British myself?
Go for it.
No, no, I think I just did by bringing up the Jaffa Cakes discussion.
Well, I
Do
think
you
it's possible to out British yourself even more than that,
do
but
you have Jaffa Cakes in the US?
no, we don't.
You
But
don't.
no,
Oh my God, do you know what it is?
yes, I do. When I went to Europe, I had one.
Did they blow your mind with how amazing they are?
Yeah, they were really good.
Did you have the orange one, or did you have? Because we have other flavors.
There are other flavors.
Yeah, so you can have. There's an orange one, which is the normal one. Because
What's the right?
do you know why they're orange?
I have no idea.
Because Jaffa is an area in the Middle East where
Yeah, I know
like they're
that.
famous for for growing oranges,
Oh, huh.
and that's why.
I just thought it was just a coincidence. Like, oh,
No, um, but no, you can have a cherry flavored one and a raspberry flavored one and a coconut one.
huh.
No, that's really cool. My dad just
Cool.
got back from Australia and he brought loads of Australian chocolate, so I'm just in a candy mood right now.
All right. So anyway, going back to the
Yes, Young
topics here.
Justice.
Yeah, Young Justice, definitely go watch that show. It is so good. It's on Netflix right now. It's definitely worth a watch. And especially if you're not really up to date with the DC comic universe, it's a pretty good intro, honestly. Like it really, it doesn't try to browbeat you with all these like references all the time. When it introduces a new character, they give you enough background to understand who it is and like, all right, cool, we're good to go here.
And speaking of introducing new characters, should we talk about Doctor Strange?
Oh, I want to talk about Doctor Strange. Now, for those of you for those of you watching, we're not with Doctor Strange. We're not going to spoil anything for you.
No.
We might talk about a few things related to it and what it
Yeah.
means for the universe, but we're not going to spoil anything, at least major plot points of the film.
Yeah.
So, briefly, what do you think about the movie?
Well, if you want to know exactly what I thought about it, you can go to ticgn.com and check out my review. Um, but I thought it was okay.
Just okay.
I thought it was just okay. I thought, apart from the visuals, which are some of the best CGI I've ever seen in a movie, full stop. Apart from those, it was a superhero film with nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
As you know what? That's not fair. I do like how instead of him being bitten by a radioactive spider or building a suit of armor that you instantly get the power. There's like a there's the line. It goes, "How did you become a great surgeon?" With training and years of practice. And then there's just a look between him and the ancient one, and then years later, he's trained and become a superhero. And I really like that.
Mm-hmm. I All right. Here's the thing: Doctor Strange comics are weird. Like
Yeah,
not just the subject matter. I mean, they are pretty weird as far as it goes in terms of that. But it's the major appeal was the art direction
yeah, the
for
Steve
Doctor
Ditko
Strange
stuff.
comic because it's crazy. It's all over the place. People were always drawn to the artists, what they were doing, or their representation of whatever mystical force it was that week, and they they kind of nailed it when it came to the movie. The visuals are
Definitely.
the number one thing you go to see this movie for. Other than standard Marvel world building crap. I mean, like the things we all go see Marvel movies.
Actually, you know something? I don't think there isn't that much world building in this Marvel film.
Silence. You
It
know not
sorry.
of what you speak. It no it, this movie does a ton of world building.
Okay, sorry. I meant world connecting.
It still does this as well. I won't get into any spoilers. They name drop a lot
Do
in
they?
this movie.
I noticed name dropping once.
Now they name drop a lot in this movie, and
Really?
again, I can't spoil anything, but they are laying
Well,
so
no.
much
I'm
framework.
gonna say as far as I can say, they mention the Avengers once, and the Avengers Tower is visible in a skyline shot of New York.
That is true. That's the one visual reference that you would notice about the overall world. But there is a
Well,
lot of other stuff.
until the end credit scene.
Yeah, it told them no.
Yes.
We can't spoil any of this
I'm not
stuff.
spoiling. I'm just saying.
But I mean, like I said, like for me, the strong point of the movie is the visuals and the world building stuff is nice. It's not tons of little name dropping Easter eggs. And another thing that I thought was really interesting was Baron Mordo, where Baron Mordo in the comics is just some generic supervillain kind of scenario. I mean, it's I'm jealous because I'm not the ancient one, or I'm not going to be sorcerer supreme, or some. He's just like a jealous dude, and he's like screw this. And in the comics, he's always been that way, but in the movie, he gets set up to be probably the best Marvel superhero or supervillain because they gave
Oh,
his point of view value. And by the end of the movie, I'm like, you know what? I agree with Baron Mordo on this. I am totally down with his point of view. It makes a ton of sense to me. And like I said, in a good villain, you can
dude,
see their
dude,
point of
dude,
view.
dude, dude. That's a major spoiler.
That is not a spoiler.
That is a spoiler.
No, the dude's name is Baron Mordo. I want
I
you to
know,
name
but he's not.
one
I
Baron
know, but
who
you
was a good
nobody.
guy
If
in any
you,
comic.
I know, but if you didn't read the comics and go into the film, you wouldn't know, and you've just ruined that.
Well, that's your fault.
No, no, that's not my fault. I've seen the film, but for people who haven't seen the film, who didn't read the comics, they might not
That's
know.
their fault. When I've always looked at spoilers as for comic book movies. If it's in the comics, it's common knowledge. It is common
That
knowledge if
is
it's in the
just not
comics.
true. That's just
Like
not true.
he's the one supervillain that Doctor Strange has. Like
Well, no,
the
you've got
one
Dormammu.
the one big supervillain that he recurringly has is Baron Mordo.
Yeah, but not everyone reads. I've never read a Marvel comic apart from Civil War.
It's like saying, "Oh, I didn't expect Sinestro to be a bad guy." The
Okay,
guy's name is Sinestro.
okay, I will give you that one.
The guy's name in this one is Baron Mordo. Like I said, name one good Baron. There's Baron Zemo, Baron von Strucker, the Red Baron, three bad Barons. I can't think of a good Baron.
I'm really trying.
The Bloody Baron in Witcher 3.
There must be. Doesn't matter.
And not just that, but the word Mordo, it's
Yeah,
short for Mort, as in
yeah,
M-O-R-T, which is
death.
French for death.
Yeah, Voldemort return to death. Yeah,
It's just the names mean everything. I mean, you could tell if someone's a good guy or a bad guy by their
and
name.
also because he's British.
Yeah, that too. That's
Having said
pretty much
that,
a
the
guarantee.
idea of having like at some point in the future there will be a scene where you have Tom Hiddleston's Loki, Daniel Bru's Baron Zemo, and the other evil Baron, Chiwetel Ejiofor Baron Mordo. Those three are three pretty imposing dudes.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool to have all three of them as villains, and also Thanos, because Thanos has to be there for some reason.
Yeah, I was talking about this with a couple other guys. Like maybe by the end it could be some like a Masters of Evil scenario just for fun. But hey, that's a little different. That's an
Mhm.
entirely different topic. But I mean, the
You know
movie
something?
is really good. Please
The
go check it out. It
the
does
one
so
thing we haven't talked about in talking about Doctor Strange is Doctor Strange himself. We haven't mentioned Benedict Cumberbatch once.
That's true. He does a solid job. I could see
Yeah,
him as Doctor Strange. I'm not digging the fake American accent though.
it
Like
grew
it's
on
not.
me.
Well, part of it is it really was watching Black Mass like maybe a week before and
Oh yeah,
watching
fair
his
enough.
weird Boston accent.
Yeah, well, the Boston accent's really difficult.
Yeah, it's
It's
so
difficult for
hard with
Americans
him.
to do. Imagine how hard it is for us.
I can't recreate the Boston accent. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's
Well,
really
it's not though.
difficult.
It's not so much that, but it's just that it's with Benedict Cumberbatch. It's so hard because I saw him in Sherlock first, and then I saw Star Trek, and I saw a couple other things, but he was always doing his typical British accent, and so it really his face got ingrained with that accent for me, and
Maybe.
it's really hard not to hear it when you I don't know. It's something like some people could pull it off, like Hugh Jackman. Like I'm like, all right, I don't hear the Australian thing. I don't
Yeah,
hear it
because
when he's
but you never saw him as an Australian. You never.
yeah
I don't think
that
has
yeah
he ever been Australian in a film?
a couple times
Chris Hemsworth hasn't. Apart no Ghostbusters.
yeah I don't know
That's crazy to me that Chris Hemsworth has only had his real accent in one film.
yeah that's true
Yeah. But then again, you have Tom Hiddleston who played Hank Williams in a film. That was weird. That was really weird.
yeah like I said it's some people it's really hard to get around that for some actors it's really hard to and then some actors you don't worry about it like they can just pull it off
Yeah, I mean,
um,
once you start doing an American accent, it's pretty easy just to keep going.
mhm. Yeah,
Did
I'm.
did did did, did you see what I did there?
It didn't pop up really.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. You know what? It is 1:30 in the morning. I am pretty tired.
Yep, there you go. You just had to speak long enough for me to hear it.
I'll speak like this for the rest of the podcast and see how that goes.
Wow, that's weird. All right, so just kind of moving on a little bit, just going on through, and just kind of ending up our show on one gaming topic in particular that I feel needs some discussion. Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So Call of Duty came out last Friday,
Hmm.
which again is also kind of strange for Call of Duty because normally it comes out like on a Tuesday, like most other games, which is I never understood why games did that. Maybe it was the hype factor. I mean, it's not they're not like the box office where it's like you need the hype to build up to increase sales. It's normally pre-order sales in the first week that sell the game
Hmm.
and break records. But I mean, it's just it was really weird. But the news came in recently that Call of Duty is down in sales a lot.
Well, it's down in sales compared to Black Ops 3
Oh yeah,
at this point last year.
compared to its most recent form,
Hmm.
I mean, it's down by half of week one sales.
Well, let's look at the climate currently in gaming. You have Battlefield 1, which is taking everyone by storm and selling loads of copies and proving to be very, very popular. You have Titanfall 2, which is not doing as well as Titanfall, but still drawing a lot of attention to itself. And then you have Call of Duty, which the majority of people are buying it only so they can play Modern Warfare Remastered.
Which, by the way, you're doing a pretty good job at this, but at certain points, you're slipping into a little Scottish thing, which is really weird.
Yeah, I am. My family's originally from Scotland, so it's not difficult to just sort of just go into Scottish.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Like just like three, 4 generations back, we're all Scottish.
Oh boy. But yeah, anyway,
Welcome to the
continue
Inner
about Call
Circle Accent Podcast.
of Duty. All right,
Yeah,
continue
God.
your thoughts about Call of Duty.
Um, I'm a big fan of. Fuck it. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean that. Um, I do beg your pardon. Profanity is not recommended, young boys and girls. I'm a big fan of Call of Duty. It was the first game I ever got when I got my Xbox 360. It was COD 4 and Assassin's Creed. Um, and I haven't really played a COD game properly since about Black Ops because I started liking like good games. Um, yeah, take that. Yeah, come at me. Anyway, um, but I really liked the idea and the direction they were going when I first saw Infinite Warfare debuted at E3. It made me think it was Mass Effect for a bit, and the campaign, by all accounts, is pretty good. I haven't played it, but I know a bunch of people who have, and I've talked to a bunch of people on Twitter and Facebook, and the general consensus is that it's not amazing, but it's pretty solid and it's better than Battlefield 1's single player.
Mhm.
I did play a bit of the multiplayer on the beta that was live. All it did was reaffirm the fact that I am terrible at Call of Duty. Um, and I'm terrible at first-person shooters in general, even though they're really fun, which is annoying. But Call of Duty doing badly is still an unbelievable success. So we all have to take that into consideration. Call of Duty doing badly is bad for Call of Duty, but it's good for other games.
Mhm. I'm not. It is definitely good. Like other games strive to have a bad, to have a bad Call of Duty game status. I mean, other in terms of how well it does. I mean, they're still selling hand over fist.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna just use this as an example here, and I know I'm just using Xbox as an example because I can look this up directly right now. I'm looking at the most played lists, and these are the most people playing this the most on Xbox right now. The top 5 games are in this order.
Can I
Number
guess them?
5 is GTA 5. Number 4 is NBA 2K17.
What?
Yeah, a surprise.
That's stupid.
Number 3 is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And normally, keep in mind, normally Call of Duty is at number 1 all the time. It's normally at number 1, no matter what game it is at number 1. Now, number 2 on this list is Black Ops 3.
Whoa.
There are more people playing Black Ops 3 than Infinite Warfare.
Okay then.
It has not taken that community back, which is strange. Definitely strange. Almost like a Doctor Strange. But you know what number 1 is?
That was painful, by the way. What is number one? I'm gonna guess that it's FIFA.
Nope. Battlefield 1.
Okay, fair enough. It was gonna be one of
Battlefield
those
1
two.
has beaten Call of Duty in the most played, most concurrent gamers. Now, it is not entirely fair by this because we're just judging on week 1 sales for Call of Duty. Compared
Yeah,
to this,
because Call of Duty's always sold really badly in the first week.
yeah. And normally with Call of Duty, you got to wait till like right after Christmas because that's how you can tell. Like, because people buy Call of Duty and say, "Oh yeah, presents for kids."
Yeah, fair enough.
Um,
Even though you
but yeah, I
shouldn't be
mean, it's
buying
interesting
kids
to
18
see how
plus
things are
games.
stacking so far. Like, looking at the top, let's say the top 20, I guess. Right now, Fallout's number 20. Fallout 4 is still pulling in people with only a single player.
I
Then it's
assume
Rocket
Overwatch
League.
is there somewhere.
What is it?
I assume Overwatch is in the top 20 as well.
Oh yeah, and then FIFA 17, and then Rainbow Six
Get
Siege,
in.
and then Overwatch, Roblox, Forza Horizon 3, Minecraft, Madden NFL, Modern Warfare Remastered at
Wait,
number
very,
9.
very quickly, I've got a question.
Yeah,
Who is John Madden?
John Madden was a sportscast announcer, from what I gather. I never really followed him while he
So
was a
they
player.
named like the game about
Yeah.
the sport after a dude who was not a player,
I think he was a player, but
but
I
he
feel
was
really
known
embarrassed now.
for
I don't
being
know.
like a caster.
Let me see. I mean, because he always lent his voice to the programming. Yeah, he used to be a football player
Okay.
in the NFL.
Was he like a
He used to
legend?
be a head coach for the Oakland Raiders.
I don't know what that is.
It's a
I know
team.
well, I
That's all
know
you
it's a
need to know.
team.
That's all you need to know.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So again, going down the list here, which is this is I just love looking at the most played list. I mean, this is
Hmm.
peak time. This is when people are playing.
Hmm.
Madden 17 is number 10. Modern
Is this
Warfare
just in North
Remastered is number
America, by the
9.
way?
What is it?
Is this just in North America?
No, this is worldwide.
Okay.
This is just on Xbox though.
All right.
So, Destiny is number 8.
What
Gears of War 4
still?
is number 7. And guess
P
what's number 6?
Titanfall.
Nope. Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim.
Oh, the what remastered?
Yep. And then you get
People
the 5
love
we mentioned earlier.
people love Elder Scrolls, man. People love Skyrim. They love Skyrim, and it's got all the mods as well on Xbox.
Yep, there are
Got
mods.
all the mods. It's got like 5 times as many mods on Xbox than PS4.
Yeah, and that's another topic for another show. We're running out of time. And I want to talk about that sometime because that is very important. Because it's how mods are run and how things will be done in the future. But anyway, it's been a pretty good show for a 2-man team here.
Yeah. You
All
know
right.
what? We've got a bit of time to kill. Do you want to quickly play a game?
Sure, why not?
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you to a game known only as Keyword Countdown. Now, IMDb has some crazy keywords that are all user submitted, and your job, Anchor, all right? This
Yep.
is a really, really popular film. I'm gonna give you 10 of the keywords, and you have to tell me what film it is.
All
You
right,
can
go for
tell
it.
me. You can guess at any point. All right. Okay.
All right. We'll do 3 rounds of this. Let's go for it.
I've only got two ready. We'll do 2 rounds.
All right, good.
Right. Clue number one: secret past. Clue number two: moral dilemma. Clue number three: neo noir. Any ideas?
Uh, Neo Noir, Secret Past, Neo Noir. What was the other one?
Moral dilemma.
Sin City.
Nope. All right. I'll keep
No.
going. Number four: hand to hand combat. I know it's still not Sin City. All right. Number five: pile of money.
Dark Knight.
Yeah. Damn you.
That pile of money gave it away.
I'll give the other keywords. Returning character with different actor.
Yeah, that would have definitely given it away.
Vigilantism.
Yeah, yeah.
Bulletproof car. Sequel. Clown. Right. If you get this next one, I'm gonna be amazed. All right. Okay. Final one.
All right.
Number one, escape. Number two, missile. Number three, saying thanks for saving life. Any ideas so far?
All right. So it was a missile. Saying
Missile?
thanks for saving life.
Yeah. Escape.
Wait. Escape from L.A.
No.
Darn it.
I'll
Escape
keep
from New
going.
York.
No.
Darn it. That would have
Number
been too
four,
obvious.
un unsubtitled foreign language. Number five, directed by cast member. Anything?
No, not yet.
All right. Number six, man thrown into air. Number seven, reference to MySpace. Number eight, Playboy. Number nine, Afghanistan.
This is Iron Man.
Yeah,
The MySpace thing. I was like, wow, that was pretty dated.
yeah. And you got nine, and then the final clue was MCU.
Oh yeah. I think I could have done it after 8, but
Yeah. So that was Keyword Countdown, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very fun game.
that's pretty good. We should do that again.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll make some more next week.
All right, let's definitely do that.
And if anyone asked, no, they don't do one. They don't have keywords for games.
That would be pretty fun, though.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, guys, this has been episode 31 of of the Multiverse podcast with Doctor Strange, Mass Effect, all that cool stuff. Sorry about loss of everyone. I don't know where everyone's gone exactly. I know he's tied up with the family.
Maybe they're out of voting.
Yeah. Now voting starts tomorrow. Oh
Wait,
God.
can't you do early voting?
Yeah, but that closed a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
You can't just go in anytime. You have to do it like significantly early.
I see. And you have to like make an excuse because you're like leaving the country for a certain period
No,
of
not
time or something.
necessarily. You can choose to just do it, but
All right.
they don't keep it open like a couple days beforehand.
Oh,
There's,
okay.
there's a time. There's a buffer time.
You know, in Australia, you have to vote. It's illegal.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you get fined like 20,000 US dollars, 20,000 Australian dollars even.
Wow.
So do it.
All right, guys.
But seriously,
Anyway,
seriously, we're making jokes about this. If you're listening to this and you're thinking of not voting, as somebody who's like watched this from afar, okay, go and vote because something's going to happen in a couple days, and it's either going to be the end of the world as we know it, and I cannot be more serious about this, or it's going to be something really good that will set your country on a timeline for something great in like 10 years' time. So go and vote and make the right decision.
all right.
I'm sorry for getting super deep and political like right now, but I needed to say that.
All right. Anyway, guys, it's been a Multiverse podcast. Thanks for showing up. It's been a good show, and we will see you guys later.
See you guys.